Good day, I am Sujin Kim and this is PTV News Now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heads to Brazil this week for a G20 foreign ministers meeting where the wars in Ukraine and Gaza are expected to dominate talks. He will also meet with Brazil's president, then travel to Argentina. VOA's Cindy Sain reports.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken headed to Brazil for the G20 foreign ministers meeting and talks on Wednesday with President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. The independent-minded Brazilian leader has strongly criticized Israel's war on Hamas and the high number of Palestinian civilians killed. He had this to say on Sunday on a visit to Ethiopia.
What's happening in the Gaza Strip isn't a war. It's a genocide. It's not a war of soldiers against soldiers. It's a war between a highly prepared army and women and children.
At the State Department Tuesday, spokesperson Matthew Miller said the Biden administration disagrees with Lula's comments.
We have been quite clear that we do not believe that genocide has occurred in Gaza. We want to see the conflict ended as soon as practicable. We want to see humanitarian assistance increased in a sustained manner to innocent civilians in Gaza, but we do not agree with those comments.
One expert says Lula is trying to make his voice heard about matters over which his country has little influence.
He tried to punch above its weight, trying to influence the war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, and there are limitations. We should recognize that Brazil, in terms of foreign policy, has no power excess, or has not strength to interfere in this area. On the contrary, we are very strong, and we are a power, a world power, in environment, in food security, or in energy transaction. We should concentrate on these areas.
Barbosa says he does not know why Lula has been silent on the political situation in neighboring Venezuela. A likely Blinken topic of discussion during the G20 foreign ministers meeting in Rio de Janeiro and his visit Friday to Argentina. Venezuelan's government and opposition met Monday in Caracas to discuss their differing views on the detention of a prominent human rights attorney and an agreement to work on conditions for a free and fair presidential election this year. On the eve of the G20 foreign ministers meeting, a top Brazilian diplomat said that conflicts around the world have reached the level of the Cold War and that global leaders need to adapt the international system to prevent new conflicts. In Argentina, Blinken will hold talks with its outspoken new president, Javier Milei, who is a staunch supporter of Israel. Cindy Sain, VOA News.
Groundbreaking AI-assisted technology can help people with voice disorders speak in their natural voices, giving millions of people a chance to have clearer conversations. VOA's Julie Tabo has more.
Whispering.
Joris Kastemans has a slight stutter.
I'm a light stutterer.
But like many people who stutter, when he whispers,
and you hear my whisper,
his speech is fluent and flawless.
Because when you are whispering, you don't use your vocal cords.
This explains why people with severe stutters can reduce their stuttering frequency by as much as 85% while whispering. That amazing fact inspired Kastemans to develop Wisp, an AI-assisted voice technology and calling app that can empower people with severe stutters and voice disorders to speak more clearly. One of those people is George Koster, who has vocal cord paralysis.
Since then, I speak like this.
But thanks to Wisp technology, Costa was able to hear his old, healthy voice again.
Hello, my name is George Costa. I never had heard my own voice.
Users can choose to personalize their Wisp voice with in-app recordings or use recordings from their past healthy voice. Ruud van Noorden has undergone a total laryngectomy, which is a surgery to remove his voice box. But Wisp's advanced AI technology breathes life into his voice, allowing him to speak in his old natural voice in real time. Users like Van Noorden can also make in-app phone and video calls.
The ideal situation is to have a seamless conversation with a flow, right? So without a delay. Our big, bold dream would be to have Wisp in each smartphone and laptop worldwide.
Kosterman says the technology is designed to transform not just speech, but people's quality of life.
It's remarkable.
Julie Tabo, VOA News.
The worth of damage to infrastructure due to the landslide and massive flooding in Mindanao has reached over ₱1 billion. Based on the latest report of the NDRRMC, over 500 million pesos worth of damage in agriculture has been recorded. Meanwhile, a total of 1,762 houses were damaged, 751 totally, and some 1,011 partially. So far, over 257 million pesos worth of assistance has been provided to the victims. More than 1.5 million people, or 471,819 families, have been affected, with over 15,000 people still staying in evacuation centers. This is Sujin Kim. Stay informed, get ahead, and get the news right here.